Welcome back to another episode of Conversate with Akeem D. Earl. And I am back with another very special guest. So I always start off this podcast. It's an official Conversate podcast question, opening question, and it's to finish this sentence. And it's, if I was not a lawyer, I would be a what?
Man, if I wasn't a lawyer, Jesus, that is a hard question. If I wasn't a lawyer, I would probably want to go in to be a doctor. And
Really? You try to go for all the hard
I probably
professions.
would. If I wouldn't be that, then I would probably be a basketball coach because I love both of them. But I would say a doctor because I like to help people. And I think that saving lives really helps. And it aligns with what I'm doing now, saving lives, keeping people out of jail, keeping people from getting sued.
Right.
I have a love for basketball. So seeing, the kids as they grow up and they go to AAU leagues and they go to high school and they go play basketball in these younger professions and not going to the NBA sometimes going to the NBA, but just seeing that passion that they have for the game is something that I just like to see always.
Man, so you were like, if law school's not hard enough, you do med school.
Would.
You try to go for all the
hard.
I would,
man. And see, it's crazy because I didn't know how hard it was. So my fiance is actually, she's a pharmacist and she went through 4 years of school. And
wow.
And she always talks sometimes. She said, well, I should have just went to, med school and become a doctor. But I think about how hard it was for her, and it was like, it was challenging. But I think that after a while, she kind of got her niche and she was able to do it. And I'm like, man, if I couldn't be an attorney, I could be a doctor, and I would have her help me, we can tag team this thing, so.
Yeah,
so
for real.
So no, I think being a doctor would probably be good.
That's dope. Tell me about your background in basketball.
Yeah, man. So I played basketball until I was in high school. I started my AAU experience when I was in elementary and I went up to high school. Basketball was that thing that gave me purpose in school. Of course, I wanted to be an attorney, but that purpose was driven by brotherhood that I got during playing basketball. It's crazy because not long ago, I actually had a conversation with one of my old high school classmates. And he invited me to his baby shower. He's having a little girl. And it's just the camaraderie that you get from that, right? You get the brotherhood, you get the friendship, and you get the long-lasting relationship of just having a friend there that knew you in some of the toughest moments and some of the greatest moments of your life.
Facts.
And basketball was really something that brought me closer to a lot of people and long-lasting relationships as well.
Man, that's real. How much did you average?
Man, let me tell you something. I had 12 points a game. 12 points a game. 12 points. I can't lie. I had 12.7 rebounds. I did what I can. I was more...
Okay. 12 and 7 is not bad. That's pretty good.
I wouldn't, But yeah, it was definitely an experience, man. And you really don't understand it until you leave and you go to college and you grow up.
Man, I missed that.
Just that it was the freedom and the love that you have for the game. When you start being professional and you're doing professional work and, you don't go to basketball and be a professional there, but you're just being professional in the world. It's like, damn, like it was really freedom that I had during all of this, like the love for the sport and the freedom that I had.
That's real. Those bus rides to the games were the most fun times. Man. Whether you won or lost,
you could joke, you would talk to each other. Man, I had some of the best naps in the world going to the games. I mean, I would go to sleep. It would be a good time.
They didn't prank you. They try to put nothing on your face.
All that times, man. And so some of us had to squat up a little bit.
Facts.
But no, it was a good time, man. It was just freedom,
Man, that's dope. No, that's real. So that is dope that you would teach. You'd be a whole basketball coach. That'd be fire. So where did the law come?
So I've always wanted to be the
when did that infiltrate?
I tell people all the time. I wanted to be an attorney since I was little. I was a person that you watch CSI, SVU, other things like that. But I've always had a passion for it. My mom told me when I was little, she said, "You always arguing, so you always going to be a lawyer. You just love to argue." And you learn that it's more than just arguing, right? You learn that it's a lot more.
Right.
But even in school, being in the debate team, going to FBLA, like doing these different, oratorical things and speaking and being able to get in front of a room and be confident in talking about the law. When you don't know it, when you're so young, you get that passion for it. You have that drive for it, right?
Yeah.
And so being able to do that man, I wanted to be an attorney since I was young, and it just continued to grow as I matured in school, matured in my personal life, and everything else. And when I got to undergrad, I joined the Young Democrats of Southern University, where I went, Southern University, in
Nice.
college. And, that
Mm-hmm.
really, one of my mentors was in that program. He was a mentor in that program. And he took me to a hearing one day at an appellate court, and it just sparked my interest even more, because just seeing, it was a black attorney, actually. It was a black attorney going against a majority attorney. And just to see him speak with such power, and he had the control of the room. And that's what sparked me again when I got to college. I'm like, man, I can do that. It's because of what I saw.
Yeah.
And it's because of like what you see in that room, in that courtroom, can really spark people and can change people. And you see that every day in court. You see that every day going to these arguments, man. And having that power to really control the room in that type of setting is powerful.
Man. That's real. That's why representation is so important, because if you weren't able to see that, then you wouldn't know that you can do it, that you know it's possible. I asked a lot of attorneys on this podcast, like, what were some attorneys? Did you know any attorneys growing up? And a lot of them say they didn't know any attorneys. Like the fact that there was no rubric, there was no blueprint for what an attorney, a black attorney was.
Yeah,
that's sad. Like you don't know what to go off of, so you're going into this field, you don't have any game plan or any example moving into it. So the fact that you were able to have to see somebody, and also the point you made about being a kid, you didn't know the law, but being able to speak publicly. I always say, because I wanted to be a lawyer since I was young too, and I think it's dope when you recognize it from a young age that you're good at something. You may not know all the ins and outs of it, but you're able to do something and you're recognized for it. Like, oh my, I'm good at something. I know what that feels like. I know what that actually meant. So that's really cool. So where did you grow up?
I was a military brat. So my dad was in the military. We moved around. The majority of my years were spent in Jacksonville, Florida. But we went from Italy to Germany. It's all there. And then we came back to the States. My family's originally from Louisiana. My mom and dad are from Louisiana, grew up here. And then my dad joined the military, and then we grew up everywhere. But my roots are in Louisiana. So that's when I went every summer, came to see my family, came to spend time with my family here. But mostly grew up in Jacksonville, Florida. Then I came back. My dad retired here in Louisiana and stayed here ever since, and been matriculating through ever since then.
Wow, you stayed there. So what was your favorite place to live in growing up?
My favorite place, to be honest with you, would have to be Italy. And it's crazy because the food is amazing. The water is amazing. But the people are better. The people are even better than all that. It's just the people are so nice. They come by, they come in there.
Better than the food, better than the water, the people.
They speak every morning, good morning. They just have,
wow.
Before the pandemic, I hope they're still that way. But, they shake hands, they say good morning. They're very fashion forward. So I love the way they're dressed, and they have, Paris week, fashion week, and they have so many different things that happen, over there, that they're just genuinely nice people. And so that was a beautiful place to live, beautiful place to grow up. Of course, I'd like to come back to the States so I'm closer to family, but that would be the top.
Right.
That would be the top.
That's dope. How long were you there for?
6 years. 6 years. Yeah, it was a while. I don't know anything else about it though. It's the food, but just
the food, the people,
that's all I got. But no, it was a great. I tell people all the time, it's crazy. Me and my fiance actually had this conversation the other day about would you go into the military, and like talking about like that lifestyle. And I told her no, I wouldn't go into it, but I love the experience I got from it, because I got to experience a lot of things some people that look like us don't always get to experience, right? People don't get to travel, to Europe, or get to travel to all these different places across the seas. And, I got to experience, I got to live that life. So I'm appreciative for it. I would never do it, but
man, that's real.
For sure.
How do you feel like that has affected your perspective, specifically on the law, or just in general being in those different countries?
It gave me a perspective of how much we're needed to mentor, because even then I didn't see a lot of people that look like me, and seeing, the majority all the time can put you in a space where it's like, man, and that's part of my reason I went to HBCU undergrad and law school, because I wanted to see more people that look like me, wanted to know about my culture, know about my roots in my culture. And seeing, why I loved Italy and I loved all these places, I didn't really get to see a lot of, black and brown people when I grew up. And so I was sheltered in a way from that aspect of my culture. So it really, and I was really invested in mentoring after that. Seeing people that look like me that I can reach back and reach them and help them in their matriculation, either through life, through different organizations that I'm a part of, or through law school. And it really drove what I do now in mentorship.
Yeah. So how do you start mentoring? I feel like people use mentoring all the time. People want to be mentored. People want to mentor. Like, how do you even start that? What's the first step you take?
I'm gonna tell you, I'm one of those hard mentors at first because I really want you to be serious about it, right? Like you have to, you can't just come to me and think you're about to waste my time. And when I say that, I mean you have to come with an open mind, because if I'm telling you something, either it worked for me and you can finesse it, but don't just shut it down completely because you don't understand it, right? So the first thing I talk to my mentees about is, what do you want to do? What's your end goal? What is something that you can accomplish while either in your first year, second year, third year of law school, or where you are in life today? What can you accomplish? And we write goals down. And if I can help you, I'm gonna try. But if I can't help you, I'm damn sure gonna find somebody that can. And doing that, we have those goals, and we have a 6-month mark. Where are we at in 6 months with that goal? Where are we at in 6 months after that with that goal? Because I want people to do goals that are achievable, not just setting the sky for the sky, and then it's never can be achieved. So we
you get
discouraged,
discouraged,
man.
like,
You
this
get
doesn't
all this,
work.
and then you're not seeing the end result that you want. So then it's like, no, I don't really want to do this no more. So, achievable goals, but we also have a one-on-one conversation about, you have to be responsive to me as I have to be responsive to you. So that means we meet, we have conversations. If it's the FaceTime, text message, or phone calls, we meet every so often. I try to meet maybe once or twice a month. I know people are busy. I'm hella busy too, but we try to meet once or twice a month. And having those schedules are important because you can't have a mentee, but you never talk to them. That's like, what's the point of that, right? You go into a mentee mentor relationship knowing you're going to have to sacrifice some time. You're going to have to sacrifice some time investing and sowing into those mentees so they can be better people, better attorneys, better in life, whatever it is. So that's really how I start that and go from there.
I think that's a key point, because I think there's a miscommunication at the beginning where some mentees feel like they need to be the one reaching out every single time to keep this relationship going. And then if you don't, you feel like, all right, then I'm not being a good mentee. And then mentors are then you don't want to feel like you're chasing this person over and over, trying to help them. Like, I want this for you. Like, no, you have to want this for yourself. So I feel like you're saying, like, there needs to be a conversation from the beginning. Like, hey, this is the type of relationship that I want. I just check in this many times. You could do it more than if you want, but having that communication at the beginning of, like, this is what I want this mentorship
to
look
expectation.
like, and then following
this is what I expect from you, and you give me what you expect from me. So we already have those expectations out, man. It's like a relationship. This is what I can deal with, and this is what I can't deal with it, and can't deal with that.
Red flags, not
negotiables. Deal with this. If I see this, I'm not dealing with you no more. No, like, and that's really what a mentor-mentee relationship is. Man. I have to know how you communicate. Are you a texter? Are you on the phone? Or you're FaceTime? Man, do I need to meet you in person? Like, what? How do we communicate? How do we better this relationship? And how do we get you to your goals? And that's important.
Man, that's real. So how many people do you mentor right now?
I have 6 right now. I have 6 people. 4 of them are in law school right now. 1 just graduated and passed the bar, and 1 is taking the bar. Well, taking it next week. So February bar is here. It's coming
up, man. That's crazy. What are you telling the February bar examiner, and tell the rest of the February bar examiners out there? What are you telling them right now? I think the
most important thing I'm telling her right now is to really hone in on what you know. What you don't know, you're not going to learn between now and then, because you're just not going to learn it. It's not going to fit in your brain. If you don't know it right now, if the bar exam is next week, you're not going to know it. But make up for that in what you do know, and make sure that's rock solid. Because what you do know, you got to perfect it, because you don't know some stuff, right? I think I told her actually turn her phone off. You can't have outside communication right now. Like, you want to take this thing to be done, and then you can talk to people for the rest of your life. But this is an important exam, and you got to cut out, because sometimes, man, family during times like this can be sometimes the worst, because they want to, not that they're trying to be, but they want to make sure that you're good so much that they distract you from the end goal, because they're calling you, they're texting you, they're trying to make sure you're good. And sometimes you have to put that boundary there so you can handle business and then come talk to them later. And the last thing I tell them is sleep.
Absolutely.
Man, you got to get some sleep, because what you don't sleep, you don't retain if you don't get no sleep. You do not retain. And retention is the most important thing for that exam.
Man, that's real. That's so true. When I took the exam, I need to block out from like the month before. I needed to shut down everything.
I'll tell you, and you lose sleep. Like, you stay up, you're studying, you're sitting up here trying to make sure that you retain all the information. I was a more so of a exam guy, so I took like old exams, and I would take them like constantly, taking old exams.
Full exams, like you did the full.
I just went through. Now, I didn't time myself, because I felt like I didn't need to do that right at that point. But I wanted to see like what I could do. And it was important, because it got me to the point where I can get in test mode and feel comfortable doing that. But yeah, man, you gotta block people out, because, man, people stress you out.
Man, that's real. So what year did you pass the bar?
Yeah,
2019. Okay, so give me a bar horror story, whether when you were studying or when you were taking the test. Did anything go terribly wrong?
Tell you, I wrote the bar exam, and people think I'm crazy. They give me the same look that you're giving me. I wrote the bar exam. I wrote all of it, and midway through my last day, the last exam. So the way Louisiana is set up, you have 3 days: Monday, Wednesday, Friday. You take an exam from 8 to 5 p.m. So they break it up. You have an exam from 8 to 10, 10 to 12, 1 to 3, 3 to 5. Eat Monday, Wednesday, Friday. Yeah, it's
my
hell.
God.
It's horrible.
That sounds terrible.
But midway through my 1 to 3 exam, my hand cramped. And I could not, for the life of me, write down the last part of my hypothetical I was trying to write. And so I had to take like 5 minutes and just like massage my hand, because my hand literally had cramped so hard. I felt like my hand was about to fall off. My hand had cramped. 5 minutes.
Those 5 minutes count. That 5 minutes is long.
Those 5 minutes count, man. And so I still had multiple choice to do. Man, I had like 10 multiple choice left. So I was like, okay. So what I did was I had to use my left hand, and I'm not horribly left-handed, but that's not my dominant hand. But I went through while in those 10 multiple choice, and I just did the multiple choice with my hand here, so this hand can rest.
You became ambidextrous in like 5 minutes.
And so from there, when I finished the multiple choice, my hand, I got some feeling back, so I finished the exam. I still one thing Louisiana doesn't do, they don't show you how you did on that exam if you passed it. So I don't know how I did on it. Probably failed that section horribly and just picked up the rest of it. I don't know. But I passed.
You passed. You gotta know.
We're an attorney today, so that's it.
One and done.
I appreciated that for what it was. I tell everybody, if you're writing it, make sure. And the thing is, you can put yourself in a situation where you're practicing, but until you're on that exam day, you really can't really feel how it's going to be then. Because I was just writing, writing, and it just
the pressure's there. So, that's crazy. So how is the Louisiana bar set up? Like, in terms of like what's like, it's multiple choice and essays
so
in the same day.
Every exam has 10 multiple choice questions, and then you have 5 hypothetical questions depending on what it is. So for constitutional law, you'll have something, more than likely you have something on dormant clause. You have something on something like, something else on constitutional law. And then you have 10 multiple choice questions from there. And most of the time,
and it's based on constitutional law.
Standing, moot, this, that, and the there. You have all those things.
Yeah.
And they love interstate commerce and all that good stuff. So they put that on there, and then they go and give you 10 multiple choice after they give you those hypothetical situations. Now, mind you, during those hypothetical situations, you could have subsections: 1A, 1B, 1C, 2A, 2B, 2C. And it's like, bro, I can't just give you a one sentence. Like, y'all want a paragraph for each of these. So you really got to know what you're saying, because you gotta answer everything. You gotta get the main points that you can hit. and you really got to just know how to finesse it in a way. I love writing,
Got you.
so I just I could write somebody under the table. So I'm like, man, let me see this, and go from there. But it's hard.
So the Monday, Wednesday, Friday. So that's Monday, like, and
Each day,
each day
Monday,
is the
Wednesday,
same
Friday.
way.
Each day is the same way, and then
Wow.
that
So
that
it's how
Tuesday,
different
Tuesday and
jurisdiction is
Thursday
different.
is
Yeah.
really your days to like get ready. Like Tuesday is your day to get ready for Wednesday, and Thursday is your day to get ready for Friday, and Sunday is your day to get ready for Monday. But that one day in between, it really goes quick. Like as soon as you wake up, you're studying. By the time you know it, it's 6 p.m. And it's like, damn, I got an exam tomorrow. I don't even
Wow.
know what's going on. So, man, it's
Yeah.
crazy.
Man, it's so interesting how the different jurisdictions are different. Because in DC, it's
Yeah,
2 days back to back, and it's 6 hours each day. One day is multiple
yeah.
choice, and one day is all essays. So the fact that it's spread out, I feel like I'd rather
Get
it
it
be
out the
back to
way,
back days. To
man.
spread it out, yeah, to spread it out for a whole week, that's too
Bro,
much
that
stress.
Tuesday and Thursday, you
Oh
really
my
don't
god! So,
study. You really stress and say, like, how did I do Monday? How did I do Wednesday? Like, how
yeah,
did I do Friday? Like, I don't know. Like, yeah,
man, that's funny. Okay, so
yeah.
one and done, you
Thank you.
passed the bar. Congratulations. So, what was your first
My
job
first
after
job
passing
after
the bar?
passing the bar was at the Department of Justice. Uh, I was an
Okay.
assistant attorney general. I really did a lot of
Mm-hmm.
civil rights stuff, civil litigation and stuff. I did a
Okay.
lot of motion practice.
Mm-hmm.
I did a lot of 1983 claims.
Mm-hmm.
So
Nice.
it was heavy on motion practice and heavy in hearings. Um, and then we hit COVID. And then once
Mm.
COVID hit, it was like
Uh,
you're kind of just trying to figure stuff out from there. Now we went to Zoom court, right? And going to Zoom court, you're really trying to figure out how things go because from that March to May, June, July-ish, everything was like shut down. So it was weird. And then
mm-hmm.
Zoom court is now become a big thing. So we continued with that, still going.
Still
And then
going.
from there,
Yeah.
I transferred into private practice.
Got you. Did you always want to do federal government work, or that
It
was something
wasn't
that came
something that I
along?
just always thought I could do or would do, but it's just something that came along.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm thankful, I tell everybody, I'm thankful for
Mm-hmm.
that process because it really gave me a foundation.
Yeah.
Because you leave law school and you really go into practicing not knowing anything about practicing. You literally go into it
Yes.
like, I got to file a motion. How do I do that? I got to go file that. Okay, what do I do
Yeah.
after I file the motion? Like, what do I do
Yep.
after the court gives me my
Mm-hmm.
receipt of filing? Like, what do I do with that? Like, how do I
Mm-hmm.
calendar my dates for
Yes.
things? You don't know how to do any of that.
Right.
You don't
The
know how to do
administrative
it.
side of lawyering that
And law schools
you
don't teach
don't
you that.
plan for yet.
They just teach you
No. And then
exactly.
state specific law
You don't
also,
know.
like you just don't. Yeah.
So going from there,
Yeah.
man, the DOJ really got me a base of that because I was blessed enough to
Yeah.
get a secretary and a paralegal that knew what was going on. So they were able to teach me. And so when they're teaching me, I'm learning from them while I'm actually helping them as well because I'm bringing them into the fold on what I do on my side. And they're bringing me into the fold on what
Right.
they do on their side.
Dope.
And so doing that,
Dope.
really gave me a base of the practical aspect, like you said, administrative of how lawyering is. And it helps with everything else. Because Pacer and me, we never like each other. Ever. I want you to know that. Me and Pacer never like each other. Ever.
Yo.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. That's real. So you
Yeah.
transferred into the private practice. How was that transition?
I would say this. Private practice is it's different. And it's different because now I'm dealing with billable hours. I'm dealing with,
Mm-hmm.
clients that are very rich and that expect you to do a lot of things that are out of your power. You're dealing with the powers
Mm-hmm.
that be that is a European-based majority of a law firm that's bringing Black and brown people in that just don't know how to do that. So then you deal with, the passive aggressiveness. You deal with, feeling like sometimes you're a minority and you just don't have anyone to talk to and trying to find a mentor in those situations. But once you get through those
Yeah.
feelings, you learn the game, and it's a game. You learn how to get through. But private practice was a struggle for a little while because of just trying to bill 160 to 180 hours a month. It's like, how in the hell am I going to do this? And you learn how to do it, and it's crazy
Yeah.
because every client has different, requirements
Easy.
that they need and different billing requirements. So you got to learn that. You got to learn how to, tailor your writing to the partner that you're working for, if it's more than one, and so it's a lot.
Yeah.
But it's been well. It's just an adjustment.
Yeah. That's real. So break down the game. Give like a quick synopsis of like what is the private practice game? What have you
So
put
first,
together?
the game. Let's talk about that. No, the first thing you do when you get into private practice is make sure, number one, that you have a mentor that's in private practice or that has been in private practice for a while. And then once you get into the firm, pick what you want to do smart and wisely. Because a lot of different people are going to want to say, hey, can you work for me on this project? Hey, can you work for me on this project? And you have to balance what you're going to do because you're not able to do everything. So you're going to have to be able to tell the partner, hey, yes, I can do this for you. However, I'm busy with this project one right now, and I'll get with you and get to your project after, if that's okay. If it's not, if you have a deadline, I understand. Maybe I won't be able to do it. So understanding your limits. That's number one. Number two, getting involved. Don't just be at your desk 24/7. Don't be in your office 24/7. If they have events outside of work, go. Make yourself known.
Yep.
Smile, even when you don't want to. Tell them funny jokes, even if it's not funny.
The lawyer, the corny lawyer jokes.
Learn Game of Thrones. Learn these shows. Like, learn them. You know what I'm saying? Because you have to be able to not just be an office work. You have to be able to move that outside of being in an office, and you have to relate to them. Because if you're on the track for partner, if they don't know you personally or they don't know who you are outside of just what you put on a piece of paper working, they're never going to promote you a partner. They're never going to promote you to anything. They're going to say, "Oh, yeah, you're a good attorney, but I don't know him." And then lastly, and then lastly, join the bar association committees, join different diversity committees, make yourself stand out. I know when I was at my last firm, I just moved to another firm now, but I was at my last firm and I was vice chair of the diversity committee. That was something that me as a young attorney, that never happened. And I was the first Black man to even hold that position. So you have to be able to get yourself in these positions, in these committees, not only at your firm, but bar association wide, because you want to be recognized. I'm very big on pro bono work. I did that a lot in law school, and I continued it into my practice now. And that's some of the stuff that gets you recognized, and that's some of the stuff that gets you on that track to become a partner.
Awesome. So how do you stay true to who you are? Because you said like learn the jokes, learn the lingo. How do you still stay true to who you are though, and not compromise your own personality and your own values?
I think
while also playing the game.
You just have to set a limit. And when I say that is, I can tell these jokes, this and the third, but I'm not going to be disrespected while I'm playing the game. And if that means the passive aggressiveness that needs to be addressed, or if that means that, my work is getting graded a little bit harder with a lot more red marks that I don't think they feel, or if that's you trying to change who I am as a writer because you want to see something as a writer, but that's not something I say it as a writer, you have to have those conversations. And I think that, if the conversations don't ever, go toward a solution, that might not be the place for you. Because every firm needs to respect their boundaries with you, like you respect your boundaries with them. And trying to change you as a person could never be a thing what a firm is supposed to do. Because who you are is who you are. Now, let me tell you something. I have a time, they call me a rebel because I'm going to have a Martin Luther King, Malcolm X in my office. You know what I'm saying? That's just who I am as a person. Big poster.
Big poster on the wall.
Because I'm going to always represent for my people. But however, you got to know your limit with that, right? And then you can't just go overboard and have Malcolm X, Farrakhan, and then have a big poster of Black Jesus, and don't think people are going to get offended. You got to have a boundary that.
Got Negro spirituals playing in your office.
Negro playing in your office as soon as they come in. No, there has to be a boundary. There has to be a boundary somewhere. But you have to always make sure that you're staying true to yourself by making sure that you set a boundary on what you're going to accept and not going to accept. And make sure you have a conversation after that.
Got you. So to take it back a little bit, give me a welcome to the legal field moment. You passed the bar, first time at the DOJ. What's a moment where you're like, this is real? I'm a lawyer now.
So I would have to say it was my first motion for summary judgment hearing on a case, on a 1983 claim. in federal court.
Mm-hmm.
And I was going against a seasoned attorney. He was practicing, I think, 10 years. My argument was solid. My exhibits to my motions for summary judgment was intact. I mean, A to E. Yeah, every exhibit possible. I got there. The judge called my name. And this is the first time I've ever been to Attorney Williams. Who is that? Me? Oh, I'm here. That's me. That's me.
Is that me?
I got there.
Oh,
I got in front of the judge. And I froze. I couldn't, like, she was asking, Mr. Williams, are you okay? Yes, ma'am. Can you give me a second, please? Like, my hands started to sweat. My body started to shake because I'm like, I'm really out here representing a whole DOJ, and I'm don't know what I'm about to say, and I don't know what I'm saying. And my paper's right here, and I can't say anything. I'm frozen. And so, I got through my argument, and I thank God I did. It was a little hiccups there, little hiccups here, but I got through it. When I tell you that opposing attorney wiped the floor with me, and that's because I just that practical thing, like that practical aspect, but actually, and not even that, is just going and seeing how it's done. If you've never been like a first chair, second chair on anything, like I would advise people, even watching this, man, go and even if it's like you not doing anything, but you're just sitting there in that atmosphere, you get that feeling of how it is, because that feeling, that adrenaline is rushing, and that's when you first start. It's like, what am I doing? Now I can go up there without paper in my hand. It's work. Like, no, this is what it is. This is what's not. They lying, and this is why. You know what I'm saying? They're lying, and this is why. But when you first start, it's all that adrenaline rushing, and you don't know what to say. Yes, no, I don't know. My name is Gary. Is it? That kind of thing. So that was my come to Jesus meeting when it first started.
That's a good one. I feel like a lot of people have those stories too, just not being able to speak. And I think it takes the pressure off to hear those stories, because we all want to do so well going into our first moments.
Exactly.
And it's like, you're human. It's okay. And this is it's a practice. It's a skill that you learn. You're going to do this 100 times over. So it's okay that the first 5 are terrible. So you're going to get better at it. So I want to take it to how I not met you, but how I interact with you from Twitter. And just follow you on Twitter and seeing your tweets, me being inspired as a law student, becoming a lawyer, and seeing your encouraging tweets and funny tweets and all of it. And which is why I wanted you on the podcast, because being able to be on Twitter in that space, and we all know there's law Twitter, there's a whole legal community on Twitter. Speak to me about why Twitter. Like, when did you get into tweeting specifically, like consistent legal tweets, and talk about law Twitter?
I'll tell you, so Twitter is, it's funny that you bring that. Twitter is, we met through Twitter, and Twitter is one of those places, sometimes I get a little overboard, because I like to inspire. I like to make sure I go, and sometimes it's intentional, because I make sure Black law students, Black young attorneys, like I make sure I talk very direct, and it's very the crowd knows who I'm talking to, right?
Good.
you can't miss it. I started that probably 3-4 years ago, because when I'm thinking, and I was talking to my mentor about mentorship, I talked to him about why there's such a lack of mentors, and how can we reach more people, right? How can we go out, and because I felt like mentors at the time only thought, oh, I'm gonna give you some law school outlines. Oh, I'm gonna give you some information about a job, but you're not gonna call the people to help me with the job. Oh, I'm gonna give you what you need for the LSAT, but you're not giving me no material or sitting with me and talking to me about how to get to the next step to get to law school.
Or just like one initial call for 20 minutes, and then
with them. You don't touch hands or rub hands with them. So when I started, tweeting about law students and Black law students, I got people started coming to me in my inbox, or coming to me under my tweets, and actually asking me about, information about either law school, or how to get through law school, or how to take the bar. And it just really started going from there. And it's been such an overwhelmingly positive response, because I've gotten so many people. A lot of my mentees, 3 of them met me through Twitter. That's what's crazy. And we still talk to this day. And it's crazy because 2 of them are coming to my wedding.
Wow.
That's how close we've become. And so, and
that's awesome.
That space for me has been a space where I've been able to touch people that I normally wouldn't touch. And I tell people all the time, social media has become such a powerful tool. And so sometimes I just have to, I tweet things or I type them up and I delete them, because you have to know who you are in that space. And everyone has a following. Everybody has an influence, no matter if it's big or small. And so sometimes I have to pull back, because sometimes I want to tweet some things about some things happening. I'm like, you don't want to give them the negative aspect of it. And sometimes I don't give a damn. I just tweet it anyway, and it just go from from there. You know what I'm saying? You don't have to like it or don't like it. Facts. Sometimes the truth needs to be said.
The truth needs to be said.
My fiance has a heart attack sometimes. Some of the stuff I tweet. Okay, why did you tweet that?
Why did you tweet that?
Your Twitter is private, all this other stuff. But it's been inspiring, and I thank you for your words. I'm so glad that I've been able to inspire people in that space, because that's what I always want to do. It's just inspire people and tell people it doesn't come from being well connected. I'm a person that just is out here just doing it on my own, and being in spaces and networking with people and growing from there. So if I can do it, you can do it, and that's always what I want people to understand in that space.
No, that's real. And I think like I said, it's good that you speak the truth, because I feel like a lot of people, the things you say may not have been like some epiphany. It's something that a lot of people say, but nobody wants to put it on social media. Nobody wants to say it out loud. There's things that people need to hear, especially in that space. Now, it's been definitely helpful. So talk about the law Twitter space, legal Twitter, like the hashtag
law Twitter is not for us. I say, and it is for us, but it's not. And the reason I say that is because you see so many people. Look, some people don't want to go to a big law, and that's okay. But I feel like law Twitter puts you in a space where you feel like you're underwhelmingly unachieved. And it's not that. It's just people that are boasting and bragging about where they are, what they do, and this, that, and the third. And it's no advice that's being given that can actually be correlated to someone being a better attorney. It's just people going in there talking nonsense. And, I have been known to quabble with a few people. We go back and forth because it's just foolishness that they talk about. I've learned to, push back a little bit and not do as much. But law Twitter is one of those spaces where you have to be careful with how you get wrapped in that, because it can get you so wrapped in law Twitter that you think that Twitter is going to be your real life. And you got to think about that is be mindful what you put on there, and be mindful who you're arguing with, because you never know who's connected to who. And even though they might not know where you work at, your face is there. And they can find you where you work at, because Twitter has a thing that they find people that goes wrong. But so I don't really mess with them people. I don't mess with them folks.
People go to Twitter before they go to the police.
Get you locked up for something you didn't do? I don't know, man. This is crazy. But law Twitter, Twitter can be good as far as helping people with job placement and employment and stuff like that, and maybe different ideas like that or different things like that. But it can be drama filled as well.
That's real, and it does depend on who you follow, and there's always like certain threads that get started on Twitter, like the Black lawyer thread, and those are always so exciting to see, because you could just tell how we don't see enough Black attorneys by how refreshing that is. And it's specifically in the social media space. This is why I started the podcast, because it's in the content space. We don't have Black lawyers speaking. We don't have Black voices in this space. So that's why it was so refreshing to see you and other people in that space as well.
That's a great point, because people think that there's so many Black attorneys in this world, but there's so few of us. We only see what we're around. And what we're around is very few and in between, because the majority controls this profession. And I want people to stop thinking that we out here, getting all these numbers. We're out here in droves, yes, but they're very small droves. That's why we got to get more people into law school, get more people into these spaces, because we're outnumbered. And please come, exactly. Please come, man. Please
come, Professor. So where do you see the future of your Twitter? Like, when do you want to take this? Do you have any future plans, or you just want to be consistent?
I don't have. Twitter is a space where I use Twitter more than I use any social media platform. Twitter is a place I'll always be at. but I always tweet. I say this regularly in regular conversation. If I'm ever up for a nomination, delete it. No, you're not getting no
Snatch
tweets from me
down.
from 10 years ago. Oh, because
No more.
they'll dig it up.
Yo, because they will dig it
Twitter is
up.
a space I always want to be in. I think I always want to encourage people.
Yeah.
You know, I always tell people too, and I always tweet about this. I'm a person outside of the law, so I tweet about regular things. I'm a sports fanatic, so I tweet about games. I tweet about happy hours. Hey, y'all got to check this out. You know, I tweet about everything because the world is filled with so much hate and so much anger and so much, animosity. Sometimes you just need to laugh, or sometimes you just need to go on these social media sites and just figure something. Me and my fiance send each other stuff that we laugh at all the time, just from stuff on Twitter or Instagram or stuff like that. Sometimes you just gotta laugh away from all the anger and stuff that's happening in the world. I hope that my Twitter can continue inspiring people. And continue to just, I'm able to touch people and send people into law school or send people into those spaces that they don't think they can be at. But with my help, they're able to do that. And they're able to help me too, because you're helping me be a better person while I'm helping you get to where you want to be. So hopefully in a couple of years, my Twitter can be helping people more from that.
Right, that's real. Do you want to flex real quick and say how much followers you got?
I have more than 4,000 followers, and we've grown that in the last year substantially, and I'm grateful for that. And we're able to touch people with that following. Of course, it could be more, and we're going to try to grow it more, and we're going to try to continue to encourage and do all that. But yeah, 4,000 is where I'm at.
For sure. Hey, no, that's great. No, it's great, and it's definitely gonna grow. It's definitely gonna grow. So, and you said something about you're more than just the law. So, who are you outside of the law? Dive into who's Gary outside of
me and the legal profession. I am a fun guy, man. Like I talk about this whole session. I have a fiance. She and I are always out having fun together. We're always out doing things that are just enjoyable with each other, trying to just, become a union and be happily ever after, right? Travel, I'm actually on a show called Law and Crown. I do legal analysis on that show. Yeah, man.
Really?
I do that. I'm picking that back up in a few weeks, so I'll be back on the show. So basically,
what do you do on that show? What's that show about?
The new legal crimes that are happening, the trials that are happening. I covered the big Amber Heard trial versus Johnny Depp. I was on there talking about that. So it's just different things that we do, different topics, and that show has gotten me to a place where I'm comfortable speaking. Because being on TV, you don't really, you see TV, but you don't know TV until you're on it. And so we have production meetings. We have lights, camera, action. You have somebody in your ear talking 24/7 saying, okay, we're going to break. And so you're able to multitask doing that.
Wow.
All that.
You put the makeup too? You put the makeup on, the blush?
No, it's been, that show has gotten me out of my comfort zone.
Yeah.
I'm also I'm an advisor. I advise Collegiate 100 now. I'm a Collegiate 100 advisor for Louisiana State University. So I have 15 knuckleheads that we actually just got from a meeting before I started with you. They go in the community and do community service work. And we do that. I'm a member of Alpha Phi Law Fraternity Incorporated. So we go out and we do community service there as well. And then, I'm just an overall good guy, man. I just like traveling. I like eating. I'm a foodie. I eat a lot.
I wanted to ask, how do you practice law in Louisiana, bro? How do you make it back from lunch? I've been to New Orleans twice, and bro, the food is oh my gosh,
the food here,
it's insane.
If you let it, will get you big as a house. And I'm telling you, if you let it, the food here will get you big, and it would get you right. But it's so good, man, and it's crazy because me and my fiance want to end up in Dallas, and that's our next move. But we said when we leave here, it's like we're gonna miss the food because you can't get this food anywhere else. That's not something you can do. Man, we do go to lunch a lot. Me and my firm, and it's like it's work,
Yeah, exactly.
No, I'm supposed to do
run
that.
emotion after this.
It's the food down here is amazing. Everybody watching, please come to New Orleans. Actually, Mardi Gras is this weekend, going into Fat Tuesday.
Yes,
we're gonna have a good time.
Yeah, it is.
And if you have never experienced New Orleans, please come down. Yeah,
man, that's so dope. That's so dope. I don't know. I mean, and it's
so
a
much
just
culture.
beautiful city in general. I don't know how you focus. Yeah, man, that's so dope. That's so dope. All right, so to close out the podcast,
okay,
I got to put you on the spot. It's called the closing argument, and you basically leave the conversate audience with final words, whether it's encouragement, whatever you want to leave them with, but it has to be in closing argument form. And you have to use the word of the day.
Okay.
You have to incorporate the word of the day into it.
Okay.
And you obviously can't look it up either. If you use it. The word of the day is pejorative. Pejorative. And you have to use it in your closing argument the best way you can. And I'll let you know if you used it correctly or not. But,
Jesus, you got me on the spot. Okay.
So, I got to get my guest on the spot. So leave the audience with something, any gems you want to leave.
Yeah, to close
the
out,
audience with.
I hope today has been, or tonight, I hope tonight has been informational. I hope tonight has given you inspiration to not only go to law school, but to become an attorney. Because some people take the bar. I mean, some people go to law school and don't take the bar. I hope that you can do both. I hope that the pejorative of your mindset is going to be Black attorneys matter. You can be a Black attorney and you can matter as well. And I think that being in these spaces where we're talking amongst each other is going to be very important. So thank you for this podcast. Thank you for being here in this space, because like you said, there's not enough Black attorneys that are doing this for this kind of content. So I appreciate you for that. Thank you, Apple, for having us. I mean, we're on Apple. We're everywhere. I don't even know where all we are, but I know we're Spotify, Apple, we're everywhere.
Spotify.
Thank you for the space, all the sponsors. But
yeah.
Be encouraged. Don't let anybody dim your light. Don't let anybody tell you what space and what box you're supposed to be in. Break the damn box down every time. Speak your mind, and don't let anybody tell you that you're not enough, or don't make anybody feel you that you're not worthy enough. You are worthy. You are enough, and you're going to break glass ceilings and take some people with you. Thank you.
Hey, amazing,
Thank
man,
you.
Mr. Gary Williams. So, pejorative means expressing contempt or disapproval. So you didn't exactly use it right.
Jesus. Like
I love the way you slid it in there, though. It was good.
Like what?
Right. Listen, man, language is made up. It could be whatever you want it to be. But thank you so much for being on the podcast. This was amazing. And like you said, I know people are going to gain something from this. From hearing your story, hearing your background, hearing the work that you do. The mentorship is going to be definitely impactful. And do you want to drop your Twitter handle? You want to let them know where they can find you on Twitter?
ALWAYZ_winning. You can follow me on there. I am a conversationalist. I'm going to give you a good morning famo every morning. So you're going to get a good morning from me no matter what you do every morning, and you're going to like it. And so that's my Twitter handle. Follow me. Akeem, thank you for this space again. Thank you for having me.
Awesome.
Doing this, and I
of course,
really appreciate
man. Of course.